Welcome back to the Drop House Podcast. You are here with your host, Semaj and Claire. And to the right of me, we have the one and the only
Ben Ellis. Pleasure to be here.
Ben Ellis, man. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good.
I like your socks. Are those
Thanks.
people wrestling?
Dude, they got little wrestlers on them, and then across the toe they have like a move on them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I can take my shoes off for you though.
Can you, are they like wrestling approved? Can you wrestle in them? Do they got
Yeah,
little
yeah.
grippies on the bottom?
No, I mean, you wear shoes when you wrestle, right? So,
True. I've been doing so much fucking like grappling MMA shit, I forget that they do make wrestling shoes.
dude, that was the biggest learning curve going from like just strictly wrestling to MMA.
Not having your shoes on.
Having the dogs out all the time.
Yeah.
It's weird to me.
Yeah, it was, especially like getting on mats and shit, just like toesies out.
I know. I was like, people have nasty ass feet. I don't want to touch these things.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't like people looking at my feet. I don't think they're the worst. You know, the dogs get out on the shows because I wear a lot of sliding shoes. I used to always wear sneakers, but then I started training a lot, and then like just fucking taking sneakers off at the dojo, and then like having kind of like sweaty feet, and then trying to put your I just got a lot of slide on shoes now.
Look, when I was working in like schools and stuff, only Crocs.
Hell yeah! What'd you do working in schools?
I was like program directing and coaching for a little bit, and then, figured I'd still keep fighting, but take my life somewhere else.
Hell yeah! For those of you who don't know, my friend Ben here is a fighter. It's funny, so you fought Mike Bullock, who was recently on this podcast as well, and so funny story, he went to school with my girlfriend. They went to like high school together. So
Mike
so she was just like, I know this guy Mike, he's always like being really like nice and supportive to like my music, blah blah blah. And then I saw he did jiu-jitsu. I was like, oh, cool, that was a while ago. And then never talked to him. Never, I just, like, knew of his existence. And then me and you met at Metrolina Martial Arts. That was the first dojo I've ever went to. And though that's not my primary dojo right now, I think we just happened to be there on an open mat day and saw each other.
Best way to make friends is just pop into open mats and fight each other.
Yeah, exactly. And then I saw that you, I saw she was like, oh yeah, Mike has a fight. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I was like, I know that kid. I was like, oh shit, he's fighting him. And I was fucking sick. You won that fight. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
How was it?
That was probably the best I've performed in any competition ever.
Oh, yeah?
It was great. It was all respect to Mike. Mike's awesome.
Yeah.
He was awesome leading up to the fight. I'm not like dogging on him or anything.
Yeah.
I went out and did my thing, man. I wrestled him. I mixed in some punches and
Yeah, I know the wrestling was a big part.
yeah, every time he'd throw a punch, I just level change and shoot.
Yeah, man. Because I was like, I was curious on how it was going to go. Because I know Mike's a jiu-jitsu guy. From what I know about him, I know that he's a jiu-jitsu guy.
I think he's got like a really good game off his back. He almost had me in a Kimura at one point.
Yeah. So, but I know when I met you, you were talking about wrestling. You were working your wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I also knew that you do like, is it Taekwondo, karate?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm curious on like how that's gonna play out. I haven't gotten to watch it, but I was super interested. Like I was like, I just want to know how, like, what happens. And then Mike was telling me that the wrestling played a big part. How long were you training for this specific fight?
I took it on like a month's notice, so I didn't even get like the full 6-week camp or anything. The guy who was matching the fights up was having to be at my gym.
Yeah.
And
you want to fight?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. He's like, you ever heard of Sambo? He's like, you want to do it? And I was like, yeah. I was like,
yeah.
Now then when,
Yeah. Heck yeah. How old are you?
20.
20?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell yeah. I thought you were a little older, bro. You got a mature vibe to you.
I have been told I am a lot more mature than I my age would lead you to believe.
Yeah. So how long have you been training?
So I wrestled all throughout high school. I wasn't really that good though, because I was just so in my own head with it.
Mm-hmm.
Got out of high school and was like, yeah, I'm not done. Let's keep doing this thing. So I started doing jujitsu, and then kind of just clicked, that this is supposed to be for fun and not like if I win, lose, doesn't matter. I'm out here having fun, making friends, and
Hell yeah.
started doing really well.
I think that's a really important thing. A lot of people miss, and I'm not fucking great at it either. That's something I think about too, because I don't think I'm ever scared to lose a fight. I'm just like, people are gonna look at me weird after.
It's like it's natural. It's human to
Yeah.
worry about what other people are gonna think. It's just most people don't really give a shit if you won or lost your fight,
Yeah.
and if they do, then they're probably projecting.
Yeah, I feel that. So, you said you started doing jujitsu, realized it was for the love, for the fun, for
Oh my
the
God,
community, and then, so, you're 20. So how long ago is that?
yeah. It was so I was 18, so about 2
Like
years
2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've been training altogether roughly 6. But you. What about your karate, taekwondo stuff?
Dude, that's so. I was coaching, program directing. Now I'm just doing karate.
Uh-huh.
I'm not coaching it. I mean, between you and me, it was kind of wild that I was even coaching it in the first place. I've never done it.
That's funny. Was it like a adult class or was it like a kid class?
Both.
Okay.
You get kids who just kind of aren't really that athletic, and just teach them a couple things, get them to boost their confidence, and
Hell yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, that's how the kid training goes.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so now where do you train that?
I train at down at Hobbs MMA.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So my boy Mike, Menace Mike.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They got
yeah.
they got crazy karate style with their kicks.
Really?
I remember first time I went there, their fighter out of there, Josiah.
Uh-huh.
Man, that guy ruined my stomach with his freaking side kicks. Man.
Yeah, holy shit.
Like, just put a clinic on standing up. It was crazy.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, I gotta train with these guys.
Heck yeah. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. What are your fighting goals? Do you have any specific goals with it? Like where you want to bring it, or are you just kind of enjoying it, taking it day by day?
Dude, it was crazy. I may have set the bar a little low for myself because the only goal I had was just win a full contact fight, and then I did. And now it's like, oh, we got more to do here.
Yeah. Was this your first full contact fight?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Heck yeah. And you won it. You did it. You had a great performance. That's cool. You took your first full contact fight on short notice.
I know, right? And with the 4-ounce gloves, and man, it didn't even hurt as much as I thought it would getting hit with those things.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Fuck yeah, man. I haven't had a full contact bout yet.
It'll be fun when you do, though.
Yeah, that's what all my boys say.
What are you looking for? Are you looking to do kickboxing or MMA? Or
So, I started. So okay, my story is a little similar to yours. Grew up wrestling. Was pretty good at it, but also just didn't really take it seriously because I was just kind of okay with fucking football. You're like, we're gonna go to NFL. Basketball, you're like, I'm going to the NBA. With wrestling, especially at the time, it was just kind of this is just a way to get out of the house. There's not really I don't want to go to college for this anyway. So I didn't really take it that seriously. So I didn't do it that much. Well, not that I didn't do it that much. I just didn't care to take it further. And then,
well, I mean, it makes sense. College is kind of the pinnacle of wrestling.
Exactly.
Sometimes you get a bow nickel, but that's
yeah,
1 in a million, man.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wasn't too focused on it. And then I took a couple years off after my senior year I didn't wrestle. And I took that year off, was just doing more music stuff. And then maybe a year or two after that, I just felt I just needed it. My mental health wasn't where it needed to be. and like I was just like, I honestly don't even remember what got me back in the dojo, but I was like, I just need to be in there. And then I found a gym, started doing a little bit of Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu came a little more naturally because I was coming from wrestling. I just had to learn to stop exposing my back because I'm trying not to get pinned or whatever.
It's where you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. So then I figured I started doing that a lot and was getting really far in jiu-jitsu. Did a PKB and didn't really do that well. But the place I was training at the time, great place, but not a lot of people who wanted to compete. So like it was like trying to force it to be a fight school where like it wasn't. So I was like, I gotta figure some stuff out. The jiu-jitsu program there, the grappling program there is so amazing though, because like grappling, people, you don't gotta want to be a fighter to be able to like grapple. You know what I mean? Because you're not really getting hurt. But when it comes to striking, dudes are like, I don't want to get punched in the face. So then it's like harder to like get the work in you that you need to get in. So then I just went to a straight Muay Thai school for a little bit. And I was just really focusing on striking and just getting comfortable with it because I realized I would try to do some MMA bouts with my boys because I want to go to street beefs.
Yeah, dude, I'm thinking about doing street beefs too. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I know I'm definitely gonna go to street beefs. I really just wanna like do a little more training. I've been training a lot, but just trying to get a consistent schedule. And I've been trying to do more teaching to allow me to like be around it more. But
It's fulfilling too.
yeah, it's especially when you see like people making progress.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you look at someone's first day there and you're kind of like, all right, like we'll get you a workout, and then like before you know it, you're looking at them and you're like, yo, you're doing a lot better. And they're like, yeah, I've been practicing what you showed me. And then you're like, ah, shit. Sometimes you're like, I gotta practice that more because I knew it, but that doesn't mean you always apply it.
Sometimes when I was coaching, it was almost like a selfish thing where I would just be like, man, I cannot wait to see these kids or whoever I'm teaching get it.
And they get better.
It's so rewarding.
Yeah, it's a fucking awesome feeling. But oh yeah, so went to a primarily like striking place because whenever I would do my MMA bouts, like just like sparring with people who were willing to spar with me, I fucking hated standing up. I would just always try to take him down. Like, cause Menace Mike, he was over at the gym I was training at for a little bit. So I would do rounds with him, and on the feet, I would just be like, fuck this, and I would always go to take him down. And then I realized like, fuck, I feel so one dimensional. I feel like not that it's bad. Like I want to be able to drag dudes to the ground and beat them up. That's still like a part of my game plan, but I still want to be a threat on the feet. I don't want to just be, those dudes who literally like just get hit and want to lay down and like ground and pound, try it or something. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do that because every fight starts standing up. Right. So and because I did so much jiu-jitsu, I wasn't crazy about shooting because I was in a jiu-jitsu program where there were so many people that we didn't really start standing up a lot. Mm-hmm. So like there were just like I have these skills, but there is these experience gaps that I was like I wanna get those, and I don't want to experience these for the first time in a fight. And I guess with street beefs, it's not really that big of a deal because like it's not like a fucking not going on my record. But as far as me, as like the things I do a lot of shit online, Mm-hmm. I know that once I am fighting professionally, I'll be able to leverage a lot of good contracts because of my online presence. Yeah. So I want to be strategic about that in every facet. So even when it comes to street beefs, like I'm not going to street beefs just to fucking like, I'm just here to learn. No, I'm going there to beat someone up and take a bout. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the point.
And the fact that you have a personality and can look somebody in the eye when you're talking to them and aren't just mumbling around, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it puts you so many leagues ahead of all the other fighters because, man, some fighters are fucking dumb.
Yeah, you realize that. But some fighters are dumb, but most champions aren't. If you realize that. Well, like in the pool of guys, like, yeah, you got some meatheads. But even when those meatheads are in the top 5, I feel like it's usually like it's the smarter fighters who are like number 1.
Well, a lot of those fighters are, I mean, they fight, of course, but their job is to do things like coach, and the whole part of being a coach is just helping people out.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So it was kind of jumping, but I just thought about it. Um, we talked a little bit about OCD
Hmm.
and and how fighting for me personally was helping with mental health. Does I'm not I'm not too familiar with OCD. I know about it to an extent, like maybe like you have like things that you have to do before leaving or something like that,
Hmm.
or like maybe like even symmetry or something. I'm not too familiar. So if you wouldn't mind, like maybe explaining it to me a little bit, and
Absolutely, man.
yeah.
So I'm there are some people in the OCD community who get really pissy when people make generalizations about OCD. I don't. I don't think it gets us anywhere. I think it's just this is kind of what people know. Now it's my job to kind of tell them what it's actually about, you know?
Mhm.
So OCD is a fear-based mental illness when you aren't able to do a compulsion over something that you're obsessing about. The obsession breeds the compulsion. The compulsion is supposed to create relief. Oftentimes it doesn't. It just creates that cycle.
Mm.
So, dude, I totally lost my train of thought.
Um, it's a fear based.
Yeah. It's fear based. So the obsessions can range from the stereotypical ones of like, germs. Everyone thinks of the guy washing their hands.
Mhm.
They touch a doorknob and they're like, oh shit, I'm going to get sick and die, and I'm going to infect my family, and everybody around me is going to die because I touched this contaminated doorknob. Now I'm going to wash my hands. And then on the way out, they touch the doorknob again. And they're like, oh shit, I got to go wash my hands again.
Mhm.
It's it's crazy. That's of course what everybody thinks of. There's also symptoms like harm. People worry about, holy shit, did I, like, if you're, say, driving down the street,
Mhm.
somebody was a little close to the street, you're like, did I just hit that guy?
Yeah.
Or, like, did I want to hit that guy? These constant thoughts that you can't ever rationalize your way out of because it's
Interesting.
just, it's fear based and it doesn't make any sense. So
So,
yeah.
what does that look like for you specifically? Like, in your is it something that it's like a daily struggle?
I have to take life minute by minute
Hmm.
because at any second, an intrusive thought can pop into your head. Everybody has those thoughts, like, again, driving down the street, like, maybe I should run off the road.
Mhm.
And then a normal person will be like, that's dumb. Why'd you think that? Somebody with OCD might ruminate on that for hours. And it's unfortunate, but it's something I gotta deal with, and I've got to put the work in to make it affect me a little bit less.
Mhm. What's the what is putting the work in?
So there's this thing called exposure therapy. Um, I know in my past relationships, I always struggled with like people's pasts, whether it's like insecurity and or whatever. So my exposure therapy I would do was I would go to like spots that my ex told me she would hang out with her ex at, and I would sit there and I would meditate. So I'd be like, you know what? Nothing's wrong here. Nothing's happening. She's not gonna leave you for her ex just because she saw this. Because you went back to a place where they went,
Mm.
trying to put myself in an uncomfortable situation so that I can start to diminish the uncomfortable feelings that it brings up.
Mhm. Mhm. No, that definitely makes sense.
Just think of it as like it's like fighting. You got to be in uncomfortable situations. Work on like if you're bad at boxing, go train with that boxer in the gym.
Mhm.
It'll make you better, and then the
Yeah.
next time you go to box, you'll be a little bit better, a little bit
Yeah.
more calm.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. So, exposure therapy does does competing or fighting training in general, do you think that helps you, and if so, how?
Dude, competing was an exposure therapy. That's why it still is. That's why I do it so much.
Mm. Do you have like a fear of competing?
Um, not not of competing, just kind of what you
Like
said of like what
the
are people going to think of me,
yeah.
So in high school, I was never able to get over it. I ended up developing an eating disorder, because I was so obsessively worried about what people were going to think of me. So before my matches, I would go make myself vomit because it was like I'm throwing up all of these feelings.
Mm.
That became my compulsion. The second I would get anxious, go be, for lack of a better word, bulimic.
Yeah.
And when you keep doing that, and high school wrestlers, they compete like 3 times a week. Eventually, you're just not keeping food down because every time you think of that, you think of competing, you get nervous, you go throw up, and it spirals into something a lot worse.
Yeah.
So once I was able to overcome that, get better from learn to stop the compulsion, learn to sit with the uncomfortable feelings. Now when I compete, I just take a deep breath, use other coping mechanisms that are a little bit healthier, like maybe I'll do some push-ups, maybe I'll talk to my friends, I will write things down, meditate, think certain words, certain safe words, go to like a safe place. Then it's time to step on the mat, and then I go do my thing.
Hell yeah. You you ever smoke any weed?
All the time.
Yeah. Do you think that's I'm guessing you think it's a net positive overall.
It's like anything, in
Moderation.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't be high all the time, right? I won't get anything done.
Mm-hmm.
Go to work, I'll just be like giggling all over myself, right?
Mm-hmm. What do you do for work?
Now, so I'm actually looking for jobs right now.
Okay.
Because I decided to go back to school.
Okay. What are you in school for?
I am going to school for like business management.
Oh yeah.
So I'm really wanting to do stuff to help people out with OCD.
Okay.
Fighting is a really good way to kind of get my foot in the door with that.
Yeah.
I mean, one, because I fucking love it. Two, it's like, hey, this is a good outlet I'm a guy who is not scared to share my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Because the natural response is to be like, oh, you're a fucking pussy for talking about you're struggling,
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, I might be a pussy, but I can still
fuck you up.
yeah, still kick the shit out of you, man.
Yeah, I think it's really important for fucking fighters especially to talk about like just mental struggles, because I think everyone goes through them. I think fighters especially, because if you're a fighter, one or two things: you have the fear of fighting, and that's why you feel like you have to do it, and that's facing your fears, which is that there's emotional baggage to unpack with that. Or you have no fear of fighting, and you're a fucking maniac, and you probably need some fucking help because like you just want to hurt people. But either way, like I think speaking about mental health, especially when you do combat sports, I feel like it's just such an extreme thing to do. Like out of like anything on the planet that a person could do, like,
and part of it was like, this is probably one of the most extreme things that anybody can do is go get locked in a cage with somebody. And
yeah,
I mean, with me and Mike, we were so friendly with each other outside. Second those cage doors closed for however long we were in there, he's trying to hurt me, I'm trying to hurt him.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a point in the fight where I took him down, he caught my arm in Kimura, and his coach was yelling like, you gotta break it. He's not gonna tap, you gotta break it. And middle of the fight, I'm like, shit, he might break my arm here.
You're like, I'm not gonna tap. He really might break it.
Yeah, I'm like, they're right. I gotta keep going.
So you said you guys were friendly before the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like? Do you think that? I don't know how I feel about that, because like, all right, I'm a really friendly person too, right? And then sometimes I like, I see fighters and like I'm like, fuck, I like this guy. And I'm like, God damn it. It's weird. Not weird, but it's like, so, and it's kind of the struggle when you train so many places.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you make friends, and it's like, I want to like not fucking knock my friends out. So then it's like when I see like fighters, I'm just like, fuck, can I be friends with them? Is this allowed?
I guess I look at it like, I'd rather get knocked out by my boy who's gonna, pick my head up after and make sure I don't like go comatose over some dude who is like, who doesn't care about me at all, like he doesn't respect the sport. He doesn't he doesn't know. He doesn't care about why I'm in there. He only cares about himself.
Yeah. Okay, I feel that. So you and Mike even like conversing before your fight and whatnot. How did that happen? Like, did he reach out to you? Did you
Yeah,
reach out?
Mike hit me up.
Or
I think that's just who he is. He's just such a nice guy.
yeah.
I mean, of course, he came on here and talked about his struggles. So we shared stories, shared how we both like struggled with mental health issues and like suicidal thoughts and stuff like that, and kind of talked about how fighting kind of was an outlet for us.
Yeah. Heck yeah. That's awesome, man. I'm glad that you found fighting, and I'm glad that you're fucking doing this thing, man.
I am, man. I am.
Do you have any other fights like planned?
Actually, in August, there's the Ultimate Battlegrounds promotions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's gonna be jiu-jitsu or MMA yet, but I think Derek Brunson's the guy who runs it.
Okay.
But they're trying to get me on the card. I've been conversing over DMs and excited to get in there again.
What weight class did you guys fight?
We fought at 170.
170.
Mm-hmm.
What do you weigh?
I walk around like 180, man. I don't know where it all comes from, man. Cause I'm not. I mean, you saw my fight. I ain't fat.
You're not big.
I'm just dense.
When you said when you said one, so I'm looking at you and I'm like, he could be a 45er. But then I'm like, maybe 150, 155. But you said you walk around 180, so you're not really cutting weight.
Not really. No, just kind of eat right for a little bit, and then because when I was cutting weight in high school,
for like wrestling,
it was hell. Like just like dehydrated. Like can't even like form words right because my tongue feels weird. You know.
Yeah. So, okay, holy shit. I'm sorry. I thought you definitely weighed. You don't like. I don't. You just compact.
Yeah, I'm fucking dense as hell, man.
So, I thought you were gonna be a 45er. That's interesting.
I know, right? Well,
so you're always a shorter fighter.
It's kind of cool. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't know any different, but when I see pictures of me like getting my hand raised next to some big ass dude, I'm like, this is cool as hell.
Hell yeah, bro! You gotta help me with that, man.
Dude,
I'm always a shorter fighter too, but like.
Short stature, get in the pocket, and then wrestle.
Yeah, see, so that's the thing. That's why I like wrestling so much.
Mm-hmm.
So now I try to like
embrace it.
Yeah, I need to. I guess this is my thought process, right? If you can fucking strike, if you can outstrike me, then you're not gonna out wrestle me.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can out wrestle me, then all right, I gotta be able to fucking strike. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you get in there with a dude, you're trying to wrestle him, but then all he knows is wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, because you know when you're a grappler, people are like, oh, let's try to put him in there against another grappler.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, all right, man, I gotta have like these other options too. Not to say that I can't out grapple a grappler, because I do want to do some just straight up jiu-jitsu, wrestling, whatever competitions. But I just want to be so well rounded. And you know, I have a lot of self-belief in like the things I do.
Good.
And I have a feeling that my fighting, I feel like I'll be thrown to the wolves quickly because of who I am. I think, for example, with even like this podcast and stuff that's going on, like I personally believe 6 months from now my life will be a lot different than it is right now. And that'll really be just because of the online footprint that I will have. But because of that, that's what sells fights. Mm-hmm. So there's just going to be more people who want to fight and bigger opportunities. So like I feel like I won't have the same luxury of people who are like, you know, I'm going to pick these fights and like strategically do this thing. I feel like as soon as I start doing it, everyone's watching. Mm-hmm. And because of that, they're like, okay, we got to make this big. So in order to find me an opponent that's also going to bring a big draw, they're going to have to be really good. You know what I mean? So
maybe you can look at it the other way too. Like you could have a presence and they could be like, hey, we don't want to feed this guy the D1 All-American immediately, right? We want to see him climb, see him get better.
Nah, well, that's not what I want either. You know, I don't want the easy way out. I guess so So for example, I mean, I look at life as a hope for the best, prepare for the worst. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, like I'm not saying that I want to go fight the fucking UFC champ my third fucking fight. You know what I mean? But like, since I do other like with music, you know, like if I have a song that does really well, then it's just like this song's just popping or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I also I don't want to go the influencer route either. I want like people to respect me as a fighter.
Yeah, because you'd be annoying as hell.
Yeah, I don't want to be like beating up fucking rappers, you know what I mean? Just because like I also make music. So I do want to do it the right way. But yeah, I don't know. I'm also I be in my head about stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just from like an outsider looking in, like it's just I don't, it's easy for me to say it. I mean, it's awful rich coming from me being like, oh, don't worry about that, man. I worry about everything all the fucking time.
Yeah.
But just keep doing your thing, man. Keep being nice. The world, I think, will take you in the direction it should.
Yeah, I think so too. That's what I'm banking on. And
Mm-hmm.
and I train a lot, man. I've just been it's one of those things where it becomes habit and you fall
It's
into it.
addicting, man. It's addicting.
For me personally, I think my biggest hurdle is my mental clarity. I feel like I've never like thus far any competitions or anything I've done.
Mm-hmm.
I've never gone into a competition with like a clear head mentally. And I don't even mean like I'm I'm upset about something going on with the fight. I mean like just in life. Like I just feel like I have a pretty chaotic life at times, you know.
Dude,
Like my
I
fucking
mean,
surroundings, family, just sometimes it's a little chaotic, and I'm just like, damn. Sometimes I feel like I'm not mentally focused on fighting, which is like the thing that I feel like gets me in my head. It's like, yes, I've been showing up at every practice, but like, was I there? And yeah, you know.
I mean, you're preaching to the choir here, man. I mean, even I can just say for me and Mike's fight, like I was dealing with an ex-girlfriend at the time.
Mm.
You know, trying to work something out with somebody who didn't want to work something out. I was trying to the I was dealing with a coach who didn't want me to compete, you know, didn't wanted me to just work more instead of, you know, follow my dream and compete.
Yeah.
Uh, didn't always have the support around me, but there were, for the two of them, there was like 10 people who were behind me, you know. I had friends who were like, dude, I'm so excited to watch your fight. I had other coaches who were like, man, your wrestling's looking sharp, your boxing's looking sharp. And head wasn't totally clear on fight night, but
Mm-hmm.
of course through those just little coping skills like meditation, just talking to friends that were actually, you know, there for me and wanted to support me and see what I was doing, which you're a pretty personable guy. I take you as a guy with a lot of friends. You get probably people you can turn to and be like, hey man, we chat about something if
Yeah. Nah, I definitely do have some good friends. That's a cool thing.
Mhm.
But also like, so it's, I guess maybe it's just pressure I put on myself, but like I feel like I've done a lot of other cool shit that people just expect me to like continuously do cool shit. I feel like I don't expect me to lose, but like I feel like no one ever expects me to lose, and I think that's what gets me in my head. It's just like I know it's almost like I'm afraid of sometimes this is the most vulnerable I've been about fighting stuff.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's like a fear of losing that thing about me where people are like, wow, this guy could do anything. Like, what doesn't he do? You know what I mean? Because, like, especially, like, for example, if people come to my podcast thing, like, I want it to feel nice. You know, it's only going to get better. When I make music, like, when I was leaving, like, that guy, he's like, he's a DJ, and he's like, I need you to send me this, like,
Mhm.
because I do things at, like, a high caliber. You know what I mean? So then it's like, but now when it comes to combat sports, it's like, wow, this is the first time that it's like, I could lose, you know? Like, I guess with music, I guess, I don't know, I feel like you can't really lose, like, as long as you do good at it, you know what I mean? Like, what, you'll forget a lyric? That's not the end of the world, you know what I mean?
Same thing with fighting, man. It's just
You forget to duck, and then you wake up later.
Well, the consequences are a little. They could be a little more dire than if you miss a lyric. But in regards to like the what are people going to think of me, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, my life's been go 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 ever since I graduated high school. I mean, with the OCD thing, I went to rehab for eating disorder, got out, and then was just like in and out of therapies, like going to different places. Like
you went to rehab for the eating disorder.
For eating disorder, yeah.
What was that like?
Dude, it's crazy. It's the only guy there.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That was weird too, because I guess the stereotype is guys who get eating disorders are either gay or they want to be girls.
Yeah. But you're just like a straight dude there.
Yeah, I'm just a dude.
So was it like an inpatient thing, or did you like?
I lived there for 2 months, man. In this place in Missouri.
Dang, you're just there with a bunch of chicks.
There with a bunch of chicks.
What was that like? Like,
well, you'd think
obviously
it would
it's
be
a weird place to be there with a bunch of chicks, but also like,
yeah. Well,
if you got to be there,
you'd think it'd be amazing, but then you remember, like girls are girls, right? No,
that's fucking funny.
In all seriousness, though, there are a lot of great people who are struggling.
Yeah.
Same as me. Just happens to be that this was the thing. This is what put me there. Could have been alcohol, could have been drugs. Just happened to be that it was this, which, ended up working out because I figured out I had OCD from it. But
so at like a rehab for an eating disorder, what is your day-to-day like? Walk me through that day.
Oh, as you can imagine, it's a lot of eating. So I don't know how much you know about like anorexia, but
I know I had a friend who I used to be really close to, who like was dealing with it.
So the thing with eating disorders, it is always a symptom of something else, whether it be trauma, another mental illness, maybe like a brain injury. It is always a symptom of something else. You are never just born with anorexia or bulimia, which people don't understand a lot of the time. So they'll try and shove food down people's faces who are using it as a control mechanism. When they don't eat, when they starve themselves, it's like a form of self-harm. It wires the brain to be like, I have control over this.
So what if like... So... I don't know. I guess giving you some perspective of like the relationship I had with a friend. It was a friend who I had. There was this girl. We were getting close and whatnot, but it was something she struggled with. We never got extremely close, but close enough. But so I kind of struggle with my own eating shit, But sometimes it's like eating too much. Like I'm just like, fuck, I overdo it. But like, and then when I was around her, a lot of times she would say like she wasn't hungry. Like, is that like a thing where people who are dealing with that, are they actually not hungry, or is it like a...
Well, it's probably the intense emotions you feel. I mean, you ever gotten so anxious that you just don't eat?
Yes.
It's like that for them all the time, man. And those emotions might be coming from some sort of like past trauma, but you don't know that. To you, it's just like, man, why aren't you eating? Right? Eat this chicken or whatever. Eat these Brussels sprouts or.
I've never been the type to try to like force anyone to eat. I guess I would just like feel guilty eating in front of them.
Yeah, I would encourage people who do have friends who are struggling with eating disorders.
Yeah.
Try not to walk on eggshells. I've always been of the mindset of like, yeah, people are struggling. I'm struggling, you're struggling, somebody else. Don't ever lower your standards, though, and just proceed as normal. And try and present tools that you can to help them if they don't want to help themselves. At the end of the day, it sucks, especially for people who are like really over empathetic, but there's only so much you can do.
I feel that. Yeah, that's one thing that's been kind of hard for me is like people who are struggling with certain things, like watching them struggle. It's so hard for me, especially because I know I struggle with certain things, but that's why I have to like grind so fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, if you don't like, because like I feel like there was a point in my life where I realized like, oh, no one can save me but me. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And like sometimes it's just hard when you see people that you really care about, and you're like, fuck.
Well, yeah, I've lost friends and relationships because they just didn't want, or they weren't ready to improve themselves. And as much as it hurt to leave that relationship, gotta do what I can.
Yeah. Self-improvement, what's that mean to you?
I mean, I don't think it looks one way for any different person, right? It can be, if you're on top of the world, maybe self-improvement is just like get your Excel sheet done before noon, right? If you're about as low as you can get, if you're like coming off a bender or some shit, it can just be like, hey, let's get out of bed this morning and have a drink of water.
I feel that. Do you feel like self-improvement, how I feel like a lot of people I don't even know how to explain it. Like, okay, I am like a self-improvement junkie at some points in my life. Like, I'm just like, all the content I look at is this and etc. And like, you get all these like positive things, but like you can't want it for the people around you. But I try not to look at that in that way. I try to look at things of like, how can I spread this in my day to day?
That's the best way you can look at it. I mean, that's what I had to start doing. I realized in the eating disorder facility where all these girls, I couldn't help them. There was nothing I could do to help them. I was getting better. They weren't.
Did it? How did it feel being the only guy there? Like,
well,
aside from like, oh, there's a bunch of babes, but I mean just like the social dynamic of like, I'm guessing like, like they're probably doing a lot of things together that you can't do with them or something, or
yeah,
you know what I mean. So there is still that little bit of alienation, but
no, there was, and there were some girls who just straight wouldn't talk to me because they had had bad experiences with guys. Like,
you were triggering.
Mm-hmm. So, and I mean that didn't feel good, but
yeah,
whether it be like a survival mechanism, I just had to kind of refocus my mindset, be like, hey, I can't take this person's aggression or hostility towards me personally, and I can either get in touch with the rest of the people who are willing to talk to me. I can either get in touch with my feminine side and start to make some friends, or I can be alone. And isolation is not healthy. So
when you say get in touch with your feminine side, what does that mean to you, and what does that like look like to you? Like, what's the physical, or what are the actual changes that you make, you think?
I just started talking about my emotions, man. I started crying. I started writing. I started like doing things that I would have thought were like, this is gay, like I'm not doing this.
I feel that. And it's interesting though, because is that getting with your feminine side? Because it kind of goes back to what we're talking about, of like, it's not like men are afraid to cry. It's because they don't want, like, because they have those emotions. They're afraid of like, how will I be perceived for feeling this?
Well, I think it's something like deep within us, like biologically, you don't show weakness because you'll get fucking eaten or killed by another tribesman or something, right? It goes back way, way back. Now we live in a different world. We're not fighting for everything anymore. The fights that we have are all to improve ourselves, I think.
Yeah, but even if you are fighting to fucking, like a tribe's trying to take over, I still think it's so important to be able to like do that. And I mean, I'm glad that we were in a more progressive time.
Absolutely.
Where like people are doing that. But man, it's just crazy to think about,
No.
Especially like as a guy, like these are the things you worry about. Like I've realized growing up, there was a point in my life as a child where people really cared, and then I started getting older, And then I just like slowly realized like they just started giving a fuck less. And then when you realize like, okay, now when you're like an adult man, people really don't give a fuck, you know? And well, let me not say people don't give a fuck. It's not that they don't, but it's like there's just certain expectations that are put on you. And not to say that, I mean, I think I think everyone out there can live up to those expectations if need be, especially with the right work and help and support. But I feel like a lot of guys out there just don't have the support, you know?
Right, and sometimes the support might be there. You just got to reach out and ask, you know?
So
if you go talk to, like, one of your boys and they're like, and you say, like, hey, I'm having a rough night. Can I come over and have a beer with you? And they say, like, what are you, gay? That ain't someone you want to be around, man.
No, you're right. So it really is that ability to be vulnerable.
Yeah, and if people aren't going to accept you for your vulnerability, it's just... I mean, this isn't the answer I'd like to give, but you just kind of got to say fuck them and keep doing you.
Would you look at yourself as more of like an introvert, extrovert?
I think I'm more extroverted. I feed off of like crowds and people and.
So.
I mean, I don't know if you watch my fight. I was jumping around like hyping the crowd up, trying to get them to be as loud as possible.
I didn't know where to find it.
It's on YouTube. It's on Triumph Fight Academy.
Shut up. Okay, we'll fucking check that out. But so that's interesting, right? Because I used to always think that I was an extrovert, and because of things like that, because I do shows, I perform, I do throw events, I talk to people all the time. But then my friends would start telling me like, bro, you're an introvert, and I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? And they're like, you never want to come to party, and I'm like, people fucking suck, man. But like, I do love people, but also I realized that like I have a hard time of like, for example, if like a friendship or relationship, anything is like not in the best place, I don't like to let go. I don't like the idea of like being alone, even though I've been told by like, you know, like my girlfriend will tell me I'm an introvert, like some of my like good friends and shit like that. And I don't know, so I guess it's interesting that you're saying that you have like, I guess, well, would you say that you're good at letting things go, or like, you know, if you got a friend who's like, you're being a pussy, or you could just be like, you know what, this is my friend, you know? Or would you be more so like, maybe I am,
man? No, I sit and obsess about it so much, but I've gotten a lot better at it. Like, if an interaction goes bad with a friend or I don't know, like a coach or just anything, I will just try and let go now. I mean, yeah, I consider myself extroverted, which to me just makes me think like I get my energy from people. If I'm alone, I will start to get like drained and not happy, whereas some people need that recharge time. I don't.
I feel that. What do you do for fun?
For fun? Well, I fight. That's all I do, right?
Yeah.
No, I actually, speaking of my feminine side, I've gotten really into like sewing.
All right, pause. Sewing's not feminine, dude.
Well, when they make you read the Scarlet Letter and like it's like, oh, this is the seamstress, and have you ever heard seamstress? That's like a feminine word,
I
man.
guess, but like, man, that's just not feminine.
No, I've started just sewing. I'm like, damn, this is fucking baller.
You just like doing things where the babes are there. That's your thing. I don't think nothing's wrong with that, bro. I love charcuterie boards,
dude. I do too, man.
That's like my thing. They're awesome.
I'll go to like Michael's or Hobby Lobby and like walk around and be like, I'm gonna decorate my room with this and this and this.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice. I don't think that's feminine, man. I think that's fashion.
Yeah, no,
I like to dress up the spot. You feel me?
I mean, I'm casual today because I fucking didn't do my
those socks, bro. Those socks are next level.
No, because I didn't do my fucking laundry in like a week, but
Nah, that's me all the time. I feel that.
Dude, I love wearing like crazy shit. I got like this like a bunch of Hawaiian shirts.
Hey, that's my thing.
I know. I'm digging your shit.
Appreciate that, bro. I actually have this brand called Thrift Aesthetics. That's all the clothes over there you see, the what I'm wearing right now as well. I've for like a couple years I've just been thrifting and collecting clothes.
Dude, that's awesome.
And
I started thrifting so I can find like t-shirts to make into stuff with like sewing, you know, like make into bags or
holy
pillowcases.
shit, bro.
Did I just open something up for you?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like, cause like I thought about all the stuff I do, and then, all right, so I do a lot of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I can do a lot of shit is because I know a lot of people who do shit, you know? Like, I'm not one of those people who are like, I do, this is all me. No, that's not the way to do it. You gotta...
That's lame, too. Like, you're one-dimensional, right?
Yeah, I love having a team. I love having a bunch of people around and shit that I do with people. With Thriftsthetics, so all that stuff's the stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
That bag box stuff over there is literally just like fabrics, pieces of jeans or whatever that I collected to sew onto things. I actually have a sewing machine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just shit at it. But I keep everything because I'm like, if I ever meet anyone who wants to like do any sort of collaborations, because we're gonna do a fashion show with all this stuff over there.
Dude, that's awesome.
But I wanna get some like people who want to work on stuff together. So if that's ever something you're interested in, man,
Dude,
you could definitely do some of that
absolutely.
shit.
I am like, I love fashion. I love clothes. I love all that stuff.
How'd you start?
Just trying to impress girls, I think.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, I'm doing this for me at this point now. Like, I ain't talked to a girl about this in ages.
Yeah.
Right?
You're like, oh, she's gonna love this, but then you're like, I love this.
Exactly, man. And then like if I put on something and then like girls just like, oh, it's neat, and I'm like, doesn't matter. I think I'm fly as fuck now. So.
Oh yeah. I think I feel like fighting probably also helps you do that. You know, I
like to wear like crazy ass rash guards and stuff when I do jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah. I feel like when you fight and you kind of have the confidence of knowing like, hey, I can defend myself,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it easier to be more authentic.
I will say, like, it's nice to have that in my back pocket, you know, as like a fallback. Like, yeah, you can say whatever you want to me. I got an ace up my sleeve. I can beat your ass, right?
Hell yeah. And you're 170, so you're dense.
Mm-hmm.
So people might try to throw you around and they're like, I can't get them up.
No, I did some wrestling with the like Queens University wrestling team up in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was shout out to my boy Steven, but he's there 195, man, and I was like, I can pick you up. Like, you're humongous.
Hell yeah. Bro, you gotta help me with some wrestling, bro. Let's get some wrestling shit.
Dude, it's not as hard as people think. I'm trying to get that through to people.
I don't think it's hard.
Especially for MMA, it's just like, there's just like 3 things you gotta do. It's just like level change, drive through, don't put your head on the outside.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So I'm good at wrestling. My shit's been like, when I'm striking, and then I'm like, oh shit, I can wrestle. I'm like, it's always I haven't bridged that yet. That's the last.
It's hard to connect the two because then like I'll find myself standing up straight when I'm trying to strike, and then I'll get taken down by somebody who's never wrestled. You know, I'm like, oh.
You're like, how the fuck? But sometimes someone takes you down, and you're like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been. So like, all right, fighting, man, it's just an up and downhill battle of like ego and humbleness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm at a place now where like I know I'm good. I'm like, there's dudes where I'm like, I'm whooping on them.
Mm-hmm.
But then like also I got some training partners who are professional fighters, like,
right.
You know, deep in there, and I'm like, God damn it, you're fucking good. Mm-hmm. Like, how'd you do this to me? It's crazy, man. Especially when you like you go to these gyms, you meet these killers, man, and I don't know, man. It's great. Have you ever like fought with a guy who you're just like, yo, this dude's so fucking good?
Dude, I sparred with Chris Weidman.
Oh shit, how is that?
Exactly what you were saying. Like, god damn, he is so good. Like, doesn't even have to try to pick me apart, you know?
Yeah.
And there's another guy who's a jiu-jitsu, crazy jiu-jitsu guy. His name's Joe Selecki. I competed on his super fight card back in March.
Yeah.
Man, that guy is a wizard. He was doing like
fucking wizard.
So good.
Damn.
And
Yeah.
none of these people even remember sparring with me. I
Right?
guarantee it. But it's stuck with me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Because to them, that's the ego thing.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're like, you get humbled by it, you know? Because, bro, I remember first time rolling with a fucking, like, 3rd-degree black belt.
It's insane.
Just being like, first off, he had gum in. And I was like, you gonna spit that out? And he was like, no, I'm fine. And I was like, all right, slap bump. And he just sat there. And I was like, you ready? He was like, yeah, go ahead. And I was like, what do you want? He was like, yeah, go for a move.
Dude, I'm getting scared, like, hearing
And I
you
was
tell
just
the
sitting
story.
here just like, okay. Then I try to, like, as soon as I touch him, like, you know there's levels to it, like, by the grips people have. Like, they'll, like, grab you in a way where you're just like, oh, shit. Like, because sometimes someone will grab you and it'll be tight and hard, but, like, you're just like, okay, you're just using muscle. But it's when, like, someone grabs you and it's, like, control. And then, bro proceeded to smash me and fucking... he didn't even go fast. That was the thing that, like... It was like I could see everything coming, but he just set it up in a way that I couldn't do anything about it. And I was just like puzzled. I was like, wow. Like, it was cool and, like, but also terrifying, because I was like, if we were outside, you could kill me. And, like, I couldn't stop you. And that's kind of, like, a scary thing. And that's what keeps you in the gym. Because you're like, I don't like... You know what? I want to, like... The amount of people who could do this versus can't. Like, I really want to, like, make the people who could do this, like, almost non-existent. So you got to keep showing up.
Dude, it's so, like... Yeah, it's wild to, like, sit back and think sometimes, like, man, I really hope that, like, if some dude tries to fight me in the street or something, it's not this guy.
Yeah, it's not that. But usually that motherfucker, to get there, has been so humbled that, like, by the time he's at that level, he's like,
oh my god, dude. Yeah,
I'm
like,
not going to go do that.
No, then that's the thing. That's why it's so cool to see, like you never meet, like, a black belt who's, like, just a piece of shit, right? Like,
Never.
Like, because they've gotten their ass beat so many times.
Yeah.
And, like, I hated that, like...
A blue belt? Maybe. No, I'm kidding.
Blue belts are hit or miss, man.
Yeah, that's specifically blue belt.
Yeah. But, man, like, people like that, like, who have just been humbled over and over again, like, they just get it on a different level now because they've gone through pretty much all the ups and downs you can go through, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And like, I hate that karate quote that, like, all, like, the McDojos try to say. It's like, a black belt is just a white belt who never quit. But, like, it's so true.
True, yeah.
It's true.
Because, like, when you first start training, right, you're telling your coach, I'm trying to get better at this. What do I do? And, like, I remember I had a coach, Coach Dalton. Shout out to Dalton, man.
Oh, I love Dalton.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
he's one of the, like, he's such a good instructor. But, I'm like, I'm trying to get better at this. He's like, just keep showing up. Like, and I'd be like, yeah, but what else? And then he was like, yeah, just keep showing up.
Dude, it's like that's not the answer I want to hear, but, like, that's the right answer, right?
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna tell you something right now that you're gonna be able to, like, use tomorrow and it's gonna change the rest of your life. Like, sometimes you will get those little tweaks that you're like, oh, now I get it. But, like, usually you get that little tweak because you kept showing up and then it finally clicked. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, I just got to sink this arm in a little deeper, or I just got to, like, move my hips or, like, get my head in the right position. And for me personally, sometimes, like, things my coaches say, like, click when I'm not even there. Like, I'll just be like, I'll be doing something random and I'll be like, oh, fuck. Like, my girlfriend's always, like, annoyed because I'm like, wait, come here. And she's like, no, not right now. And I'm like, I just have to see if this is how it goes. But sometimes it's hard because she goes limp. And then, like, it kind of makes me feel like if I was, like, actually, like, fighting someone and they went limp, I'd be like, yeah, that's kind of difficult.
I think some people do go limp when you're fighting them. It's weird.
Yeah, because,
and I mean, you know, in wrestling you call them fish.
Yeah, like, what do you, like, they're just, like, they're flopping and you're like, fuck. Because, like, you're used to, like, kind of like a frame, rigid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if I was, like, pushing a table over, like, it'd be easier to tilt a table over than it would be to, like, pick a beanbag up that was really heavy and, like, fucking make it move, you know what I mean? Yeah. So maybe she's onto something. You ever have dudes like that, or, like, if you're like, they would just put their weight on you?
I mean, it's where I don't ever usually get bullied. I'm always been, like, naturally stronger than everybody I've gone against, which has been...
Well, how big are the dudes you're going against?
I mean, they're all like 180, 185, you know.
Okay.
But I mean, they're all bigger than me. It doesn't mean they're stronger than me, right?
Facts. You lift?
I just started lifting actually, man. I never lifted up until like a couple weeks ago, and my boy made me get a membership with him.
Hell yeah, where you at?
Elite Fitness in
Elite?
Concord. Yeah.
Okay, how is that?
Nice ass gym, man.
They got a sauna?
I don't know. I've never. I mean, the gym, my MMA gym I'm at has a sauna, so I've never really done more than
What
just.
about cold plunge?
I fucking hate cold water, man.
Yeah, I just got a cold plunge. My boy Blake got it for me for my birthday.
Man, like so much respect to people who can do that. I am such a little bitch with cold water, though.
Bro, so now that you've said that, now you know that you have to face the fear.
I know.
It.
Like, fuck, I was in the mountains the other day with some friends, and they're all in like the fucking water, and the water's like 50 degrees 'cause it's mountain water.
Yeah.
And they're like, get in. And I'm like, no, man, it's too fucking cold.
That's funny. You want to know my biggest fear? The ocean.
I understand.
I don't float. You're pretty dense. You don't float.
Nope.
I was gonna say
I sink. Yeah.
my body built the way I'm built. I just I'm not buoyant because of like my density.
Dude, when I was a kid, I would my mom would take me to the pool. I would just like sink to the bottom and sit there until I ran out of air.
Yeah, like I could. My girlfriend thinks it's so funny because like if like I hold her, she floats so well. Like she's literally like fucking. It don't make sense. If I hold her, like we'll just go to like the center of the pool and like do this weird bobbly thing. And if we let go, she'll float up and I'll just proceed to go down. So yeah, you get it. Dude. Treading water is fucking tiring, especially when you don't float. You have to do it the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, deep ocean. That's my biggest fear, bro. Like. I don't even like cruises, like flying over water. I mean,
cruises are kind of lame anyway, though. Like you're
never been on one. I can't tell you if they're lame or not.
You're on a boat with like a bunch of. I mean, you can do all that same shit on land, you know. It's just this way you're just stuck with a bunch of fucking weird people.
Which you're stopping at different islands. So look, I've been shit talking cruises for a long time because I'm not trying to go on one.
No, I'm on your side. Like I mean, granted, you should probably go on it and experience it. That way you can back up the shit.
So then I can be like, yeah, I've been on a cruise. So like, all right, my family likes to go on like resort vacations and shit. So I've done a couple of those. Now I'm too old. They don't pay for my ticket anymore, so I don't go. So now I'm like, well, maybe a cruise because they're fucking cheaper. Like you go on a cruise for like $400-$600.
Dude, I'm broke college kid, right? Dude, my favorite like vacations are always just like going to some random ass spot in the country, whether it be beach, mountains, wherever. Just like chilling out for a day.
But like, do you ever go deep water? Anything?
I mean, like I've never had the desire to. Like I'm not scared to, but I mean, every time I've been out there, I'm just like, all right, this is water. All right.
So maybe it's because I have the desire to. I love swimming. That's my shit. I love swimming.
Dude, all my brothers they swim like in like for their school or whatever.
Yeah, and you wrestle, so
yeah,
same season.
Mm-hmm. So like they're trying to teach me like this is how you swim, and then I'll just sink.
That's how you say. Yeah, people are like, look, you got to get your hips up, and I'm like, if my hips are up, like.
Yeah, do you like kind of just do like this in the water, right?
Yeah, I go like this, and then the top just like kind of like follows down, and I can't keep my hips up. I think it's because like I don't have enough. I don't fucking know. I've just never been able to float, and the older I get, the more severe this symptom.
Your bones like solidify.
Yeah, I think it's a density thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, if you're 170, you're compact. No way you're floating.
Well, they say when you hit like 25, your muscles get like a lot more dense. You go through like a second puberty or something.
Fuck yeah, I just turned 25.
Hell yeah, you're about to get a lot stronger.
Feeling dense already. Yeah, so all right, right now I walk around at like 145 if I'm training, sweating and working out a lot. If I'm not working out, I walk around at like 150 if I'm not eating right. So a lot of that's just like bloat. I don't know, it's weird. But like I want to I've gotten down to 138 pretty easily. And I was like, that wasn't hard at all. That was just a little water load. So I'm like, all right, I think if I have a 24-hour weigh-in, I want to fight 125. But I'm like, I want to get stronger, because like Aljo walks around at like 160.
He's also like that's it's an anomaly, you know.
He does that, but so does Sean. Walks around at like 158, fighting 135.
O'Malley.
Yeah.
Like Sean's long too.
Yeah. There's who else? Who else is in that weight class? I don't get how Cheeto's 135.
No, that guy's fucking big.
Yeah, there's a lot of when I look at the 135 weight class, I'm like, none of you guys are walking around at 145. Like me being like I'm a 135er is just like amateur, like yes, but like when I look at like professionally, I'm like I don't think that's how this works. You know, I think that like I should be at least 150 outside of camp with muscle, and then inside of camp I should be like 143, and then be dropping to 125. I could be wrong. I don't know.
No, you're about right.
But that sounds like
it. Man, I wish we didn't have to cut so much weight as fighters. Man, it's just like
you don't have to, but it's just like if you don't, then it's just kind of like
look if like when I go pro. If I fight somebody who is 170, they're going to kick my fucking head off, man.
The 170 dudes, they're not 170. That's the thing.
They're like walking around 200, man.
Yeah, they're like, that's what I'm saying. So it's just like.
I mean, and even the 155s, they're bigger than me, man.
Yeah, 155 dudes, like. What's Dustin fighting right now?
55, I think.
He's still fighting 55?
But he's big, man.
Bro, Dustin, Gaethje, fucking what's his name?
Dude, Chandler is like
that's what I was thinking about.
Talk about dense, man.
Yeah, bro. Fucker. Like fuck, man. Like
Oliveira too, he's big.
Yeah, because I think before I was training and I had a little more weight on me. So that's kind of why I wanted to train too. Because I was like, I miss my abs a little bit. Because when I was younger, I had abs, and then since I stopped wrestling, I went into this wormhole of I'll eat whatever, whenever, fuck a scale, and then I was like, okay,
it's kind of nice though, right?
It is nice, but
you get real high and then go to Waffle House or something.
Oh my god, bro, getting stoned and going low. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. You know what? I'll indulge in this conversation for a little bit because that's not what I'm doing right now.
That's what I'll do. That's what I'll do when I have a fight. I will be like, okay. If I win, I get to go to Waffle House.
Really? Man, I don't give a fuck when I win or lose. I'm going to Waffle House. If I diet, I don't, that's one thing about me. I don't give a win or lose. I'm eating. Oh, man. I love food, bro. I am such a foodie.
It makes me so happy that, part of my brain.
Right?
Satisfies something. I
wish. It sucks that, food that's bad for you, isn't, it doesn't do good things to your body. Because, waffles they slap. I love to smother my waffle in syrup. If I'm at IHOP, I remember last time I was at IHOP.
I fucking love IHOP,
bro. That's my shit.
That's where I went after my fight with Mike.
Really? Hell yeah. My waitress at the last one was at IHOP is what syrups do you want? We got this one. And I was like, can you please bring them all out? And then I got a tres leches pancake, and then I put all that, bro. I was just wildin', and it was so good, so fucking good.
I'm so hungry right
now. I've been using ChatGPT. You fuck with AI,
dude. That's what I would use to make like when I was doing sales and stuff. I would make sales scripts with ChatGPT.
Yeah,
I fucking love that shit.
Yeah, it's such a good tool, especially if you know how to input into it really well. It'll give you exactly what you need. I tell people it's better than Google as long as you know how to ask it questions.
Well, all it does is just pull from Google, right?
Exactly, but it does it in a more, because sometimes when you look at something up on Google, you gotta read through a bunch of shit to find the thing, and you have to if I'm what's the name of the guy who blah blah blah, and then I have to start over if I didn't word it right. Where ChatGPT, I can build on my question instead of having to start over and read different shit, you know. So, but I've been working with ChatGPT. I don't know why in my head it's a woman, but I feel like it might not.
I made my Snapchat AI a woman just because I feel in some ways that women are a little smarter than guys. Sometimes they got a little level head on their shoulder.
Me and Ben will sit here and talk all day, but we're gonna be doing a lot more podcasts. So thank you for coming today. Is there anything you want to tell the audience before you skedaddle?
Well, only thing I've got to plug is my Instagram. Really, it's at Ben 17 Ellis.
Hell yeah.
I do tons of advocacy shit for OCD. I just kind of track my life, what it's like. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. I struggle, but I'm very open with it. And of course, I put all my fight shit on there. So
Hell
if you
yeah.
want to follow me and see me grow, please come along.
Oh yeah. Also, check out his most recent fight. By the time this comes out, I don't know if it's his most recent fight. He might have had another fight by then. But hey, check it out. Appreciate you for coming on.
Yeah,
today,
man.
brother.
Thanks for the invite.